Good morning, children. Sairam. Today we'll start with a poem. O Captain, My Captain by Walt Whitman. This will be taken in two parts. Today we'll have the first part. You can see the picture of Walt Whitman and a flag. Which country? Yes, America. So let's start. Before we start with the poem, let us know about the poet. So be ready with pen and paper to make notes. Walt Whitman was an American poet, often called the father of free verse. He is best known for his controversial collection of poems, Leaves of Grass. His other popular works include the novel Franklin Evans, the poetry collection Drum Taps, the political work Democratic Vistas, and so on. The poem was first published in the pamphlet Sequel to Drum Taps that contained 18 poems on the American Civil War. This poem is an extended metaphor about the assassination of the 16th American President Abraham Lincoln. The poem is in the form of a song sung by a sailor whose celebration is rudely ended by the death of his captain. According to the poet, the victory of the Union has been established, but the captain who led America during the years of conflict is dead. O Captain, My Captain is an elegy. This poem is written in the form of an elegy, meaning a funeral song. Whitman used very strong figurative language throughout the poem to express his respect and to mourn the loss of Abraham Lincoln. The expression of mourning and grief marked the center of the poem. Now, what do you mean by figurative language? Figurative language is when words do not mean exactly what they say. The reader has to interpret the words to understand the meaning. So here the poet has used figurative language to create a mental image and associate and go beyond the literal meaning of the words. Here is a picture of Abraham Lincoln, the American president. Slavery system existed in America. When he became president, he pledged that he will stop the slavery system. But there were people who were against it. They thought that it will be against the American Union. So a civil war started from 1861 to 1865. At the end, Lincoln became victorious, but he was assassinated. Walt Whitman was a great admirer of Abraham Lincoln. He writes an elegy on Abraham Lincoln. So let's start with the poem now. This poem has 3 stanzas and each stanza has 8 lines. Let's start with the poem. O Captain, My Captain. O Captain, My Captain, our fearful trip is done. The ship has weathered every rack, the prize we sought is won. The port is near, the bells I hear, the people all exulting, while follow eyes the steady keel, the vessel grim and daring. But O heart, 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 O the bleeding drops of red, where on the deck my captain lies, fallen cold and dead. Captain that is referred to in this poem is symbolic for Abraham Lincoln after his assassination. The ship is representative of the US, and the fearful trip symbolizes the troubles that the country faced during the Civil War. O Captain, my Captain. Here, the sailor addresses the captain of the ship. He says, our fearful trip is done. Fearful trip, that is the problem they faced during the Civil War, that is over. The ship has weathered every rack. Weathered means withstood. Rack, a cluster of dark clouds. Here, the sailor says, the ship has weathered every rack. The people of America have tackled all the problems, and the prize which they wanted, they have got. That is, they have become victorious. The port is near, the bells I hear, the people all exulting, while follow eyes the steady keel, the vessel grim and daring. So, see the picture of keel. Exulting means celebrating victory, and keel, a part of underside of a boat. So here the port is near, that means the ship is near the port, and all the people are celebrating and exulting. Okay, they are all watching the steady keel. Follow the eyes of the steady keel, means see the steady keel, the ship is anchored. Okay, the vessel grim and daring. Why grim and daring? Because of its exploits in warfare. Thus, the description helps to support the idea of the victory celebration, as the people are recognizing how brave and daring the boat, and by implication, the soldiers have been in going out and fighting and coming back victorious. Note how immediately after this statement of victory, the contrast is brought in with reference to the dead captain. But O heart, 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 O the bleeding drops of red, where on the deck my captain lies, fallen cold and dead. But what he sees, the captain has fallen dead and is bleeding. He is cold and dead. So what do we find? In the first stanza, the speaker, a sailor, salutes his captain. He reports that their voyage is successful and nearly complete, and that the prize we sought is won. As the ship approaches port, the speaker describes the bells tolling and the celebratory crowds gathering. But in a sudden shift, the speaker exclaims that his captain has fallen on the deck cold and dead. So here are three extended metaphors in the poem. The first extended metaphor is captain, used in the first line that runs throughout the poem. Here captain represents Abraham Lincoln, who loses his life in the battle. The second metaphor is voyage, which represents the Civil War. The journey of the voyage is full of tests and trials, but now the ship is nearing the port, represents the timeline of the Civil War. The third metaphor, ship, represents the United States that has undergone the Civil War. So let's see the literary devices. Here the rhyme scheme is AA, BB, C, DED. Done. A, 1, A, exulting. B, daring. B, heart. C, red. D, lies. E, dead. D. What are the rhyming words we have seen in the first stanza? Done, 1, exulting, daring, red, dead. Oh captain, my captain. This is apostrophe. Here the poet has used an apostrophe to call his dead captain. The phrase, "O captain, my captain," expresses love and attachment of the speaker with his captain. Here, this is also repetition. Here, the word captain is repeated for poetic effect. A fearful trip is done. This is transferred epithet. Here, the troubles which they have encountered is fearful. So, the epithet fearful is transferred from people to trip. The ship has weathered every rack. Here it is personification. Here the ship has been given the human quality of weathering or withstanding. While follow eyes the steady keel, the vessel grim and daring. Here antithesis. Why antithesis? Because two opposite words are used in the line. Which are the two opposite words? Follow and steady. This is also synecdoche. Synecdoche means you already know, part for the whole or whole for the part. Here, part of the ship, that is keel, is referred instead of the whole ship. But oh heart, heart, heart. It is repetition. Here the word heart is repeated for poetic effect. The poet repeats the word heart because of the speaker's grief at the loss of his captain. So children, today's session we are ending here. We have finished the first stanza of this poem, and the next two stanzas we will be continuing in the next video. At the end of the video there will be a link. You have to click on the link and submit your answers in the worksheet. So goodbye. Take care.